Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be playing a little bit of Ying, who is a character who I don't really cover much on the channel here, and it's because I want to talk about something that I find to be quite interesting, and that's why Ying and characters like Ying, who are really powerful heal bots, aren't exactly in the current meta, but characters like Grover and Genos are. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and grab a build real quick. So we are with Azan and Atlas on the same team. I am the only healer, so of course we're going to go for Life Exchange. I don't want to see any focusing lens solo healers. No. It doesn't work. Don't do it. Please, stop. But yeah, Life Exchange, and then I've been testing a few different builds with Life Exchange, and Ying mains, of course, can judge my Life Exchange build in the comment section down below. But yeah, what I've gotten here is a little bit of duration on illusions, cooldown of reduction of illusion when it dies, Brittle as my main card, encouragement for a little bit of increased cooldown reduction whenever I get an elim, so I can do back-to-back, what is it called? Shatters. I forgot the name of that for a second. Back-to-back shatters, so I can do boom boom and just give a 1600 burst. And then there's level 1 filler card, I think it's called Rewind, where it gives me an illusion whenever I teleport. So that way I can just maintain a little bit of illusion uptime. I find it to be decently helpful. Oh my gosh, Llama, I can't heal you. Okay, you know what? You're going to have to just chill out over there for a sec. But yeah, I wanted to talk about why Ying isn't exactly meta, and why Grover and Genos are. So yeah, let's, I guess, kind of address Ying's biggest... let's die first. Let's address Ying's biggest glaring issue up first. And that is that she is a pure heal bot, alright? She does nothing but heal. And she's actually really freaking good at healing. Like, she does a lot of healing. In fact, if you math it out, her Shatter on Life Exchange is actually far better healing than what Saris can give. In the span of 3 seconds, if we're counting from the first burst that she does, right, that burst right there, she can do one burst, wait 1.5 seconds, there's another burst, and then wait 1.5 seconds, there's another burst. So over the span of exactly 3 seconds, she can do 2400 healing. And then Saris has a channeled heal. So Saris basically, you know, starts the channeled heal, waits 1.5 seconds, that's 1500 healing, and then has a 1.5 second cooldown, and by the time she's starting the next one, 3 seconds has already passed. And so Ying does 2400 healing, and Saris does 1500. And also, Ying can kind of shoot in between those shots, whereas Saris is channeling the whole time. So, she's a very, very powerful heal bot. But Ying doesn't do anything else. She only heals. She has no other form of support for her team whatsoever, apart from body blocking with her illusions, which can be helpful in some circumstances. You can body block stuff like Drogo's ult, or you can get crafty with certain things like Betty ult and block that, or BK ult. But other than that, no support whatsoever. No movement speed buff, no form of other buff, no debuffs to apply to the enemy team, no crowd control, none of that. And also, she doesn't do a lot of damage. If we were to just compare Ying to Grover, who is obviously meta right now, Grover is insanely good. Grover can do damage throughout the entire match, and Ying can also do some decent damage throughout the entire match. But Grover does significantly more, while also passively healing his team for also more than what Ying can do. So yeah, the weird, like, sort of dilemma that Ying has is she has to choose whether she wants to do healing or damage, whereas a lot of the meta supports right now can do both, just inherently, and they don't really lose out on either depending on the playstyle they pick. Grover, if he goes Ferocity, is still going to be doing a lot of healing. Not as much as if he went Rampant Blooming, but he's still going to be doing a lot. Vice versa, if he goes Rampant Blooming, he's still going to be doing an okay amount of damage. Whereas Ying, well, if she picks Focusing Lens, yeah, she actually does a lot of damage. She's really good. But her healing is crap. You can't solo heal a team with that. It's horrible. And then if you pick Life Exchange, I mean, you're going to see by the end of this match just how little damage we're doing. It's not that great. So she has to choose, and a lot of meta supports right now don't have to do that. Genos, well, he just puts a mark on someone and then goes back to shooting for 3 seconds. He can do significantly more damage than Ying. Lilith, well, she channels her Swarm. Once the Swarm is out, it heals and does damage at the same time. And she can also shoot in the meantime. And yeah, Maldamba also, he can shoot, although he's a little bit less meta than the other supports I've just mentioned. And, you know, it goes on. And Ying is actually not the only one who's like that. Obviously, as we mentioned, Saris earlier is like that, which is why you don't see a lot of Saris gameplay in high meta play, because she spends half the time channeling a heal, and that heal falls off super hard late game because it's not even a burst. Grok is another great example, and he's in a very similar boat when it comes specifically to Spirit's Domain. Spirit's Domain, I think, is a really fun playstyle, and it actually is really good healing output, just like Ying if you compare the numbers. Really powerful really powerful sustain. But not only is Grok limited by range, both in terms of the staff and also the totems, but he's completely gutting his damage. He does no damage with Spirit's Domain, because he spends all the time shooting his teammates, and very rarely does he actually get the chance to attack. And Combat Medic Pip is another example, although he can kind of sort of do damage at the same time if his tanks are right next to each other, right? The tank is next to the enemy tank. But all these supports that I've just mentioned, Pip, Grok, Ying, they're not meta. And that's one of the reasons why. So they do a lot of healing, but they don't really do damage, and especially in the case of Ying, she doesn't really do anything else. Grok at least has the speed buffs he provides with his totems, and, you know, Pip has his slow, and his ultimate is a form of crowd control. You know, he's not just totally dependent on healing, like, you know, like Ying is with her ult. Her ult falls off super hard late game. Run away! I'm dead. I'm trying right now. I'm healing, and I'm doing a good job healing, but the damage is just not there, sadly. The Androxus is on a 22 streak. Man is not dying. But yeah, there is another key difference between Ying and, in particular, Grover and Genos, who are the two top-tier supports right now, without a doubt. And that's also the utility that comes with Ying's healing, which is to say there's not really a lot. Whereas Grover and Genos have very nice utility in the form of you don't actually have to be within line of sight of somebody to heal them. So Ying, for example, can't heal through walls. If I right-click right now, I'm not going to be able to heal through the wall, no matter how hard I try. I can put an illusion here, and it can kind of, you know, I can move the line of sight of the heal, and that sort of works. The illusion will heal, but it's not that much. Meanwhile, Grover, someone can be directly behind him through two walls, and he'll still be able to heal them, as long as they come to him and are inside of his range. And Genos, well, I mean, he does need to look at them to put the mark on, but it's pure auto-aim. You can't miss it, unlike Ying's heal. And once it's on them for the next 14 seconds. They can go wherever the heck they want. So that's a really powerful thing that Ying just doesn't have. And Grok, you know, Pip also don't have that, although Pip can heal through walls to an extent if you know what you're doing, which is actually quite cool. His potion does, the explosion goes through walls. The actual potion doesn't, but the explosion does. Also, check this out. We're going to save this is on right now. Come on, is on. There's a lot of people in here, but we're getting him heals. He got uncauterized there for a sec. Look at that powerful healing. We're able to keep him alive. That is the value of Ying, and honestly, she's not bad. Like, you can definitely play this character, and she can be good. But definitely not meta, and she's still, once late game rolls around, going to be a lot less effective than a lot of other supports in the game right now, which is a bit unfortunate. But, I mean, you can't deny the power of these heals. This is pretty good. Azan is still kicking right now. Oh, crap. He may not be for much longer. He's ulting again. Alright, I don't like my positioning. I'm getting an illusion back here, and I'm just going to teleport. I'm going to try and keep Atlas alive here. Got to keep both my tanks alive. Another thing about Ying is that she doesn't really have area healing. The ultimate is area healing. It can heal through walls. The ultimate's got everything. But when it comes to a regular healing... Oh, crap. Am I dead? Body block for me. Body block for me. Yes! Oh, Azan's... or Atlas is on my case. Alright, we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. I don't think Andro knows I'm here, but... Oh, no, he's here now. Please! Oh, Azan, you're beautiful. Oh, my goodness gracious. But yeah, Ying can heal multiple people, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can see that right now. If Azan would actually get in range of my illusion. Okay, well, don't worry about it. But yeah, the illusions can heal, you know, 2 people at a time, and then Ying can heal a 3rd person herself, but it's not nearly the same as Grover or Genos. And Lilith as well can potentially heal the entire team if they're inside of her radius. So that's another thing that she kind of lacks on. And I don't mean to just rag on Ying either in this video. I find it to be an interesting topic how a champion like Ying can have a really, really strong healing and still not be meta, because that is quite obviously the case. And yeah, it's just kind of fascinating. And it makes me wonder, like, we could open up a discussion to say, like, what can actually be changed to maybe push her more into the meta? First of all, just because she's not at the level of Grover and Genos doesn't mean that she's in an unhealthy state. I definitely think Grover and Genos are actually the ones more in an unhealthy state right now, meaning that they're too strong. Grover and Genos, way too strong, man. And, yeah, so, you know, Ying should not be up to their level. But, you know, what could they maybe do to maybe give her a little bit more supportive capacity, and maybe give her more of an identity other than being a heal bot? Or maybe she should be the heal bot, and she should just be an even more powerful heal bot than she already is. And that is her identity. She is the healer. Yeah, maybe. That's kind of always how I've thought of her. You know, she just does the healing and nothing else. But other supports like Grok and Pip, you know, how do you give them some more identity back? I mean, Grok with Spirit's Domain isn't even really the main way you play him. Nowadays, he's all about the Totemic Ward, and honestly, that's kind of fine. Pip, though, I mean, with these keywords, he's just been brutalized. He only does healing right now. With Combat Medic before the change, you were able to do a little bit more damage, but then they nerfed his damage for absolutely no reason. Because apparently 600 damage per second was just too strong on Combat Medic, I guess. And so he can't even really kill his own chickens anymore. But then his healing got buffed through the roof, and so he's all healing all day now. There's not really much else. Maybe you could incentivize more use of the slow, or maybe, you know, again, power shift him so that he's more about damage, less about healing again. Like, honestly, I would just revert the keywords in the first place. I think 750 HPS and 600 DPS was much more healthy. And much more interesting, too. Oh, crap! Oh, that was huge. But yeah, then what about Saris? Well, Saris actually was in the same boat as Ying, where she only did heal. Like, a year ago now, I think, at this point. Because Saris didn't used to have the stun in base kit. So she was just heal, 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 do some damage, I guess, barely any damage whatsoever, and then Shadow Travel, and then her one form of support outside of that was her ultimate. But then she got the stun put into base kit, and that's honestly made her be a lot more versatile and interesting. Still not a top tier choice in the higher ranks, but, you know, still interesting. And so yeah, it's something interesting to talk about, and as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these types of supports, this type of support in Paladins Champions of the Realm, so, you know, leave your thoughts in the comments, as always. But taking a look at the stats here, we ended up going 138,000 healing, and yeah, mathing out their healing, it looks like we were able to out-heal both of their supports, just by a little bit. Of course, individually, we are dwarfing these guys, but they were working together to heal Azan and the rest of their team. And I also had 2 tanks, so that definitely helped out. Both my tanks got Rejuvenate, and surprisingly, Androxus on the enemy team got Rejuvenate, but not Azan, which is a bit strange. Kind of silly. If I were Azan, I'd definitely be picking up some Rejuve, but he did just fine. He only died 1 time, so yeah. That was definitely a bit of a damage diff on our side. 1 in 12 Koga, sadly. Yeah, not really competing against the Androxus that much. Or the Azan. The Azan just went crazy, man. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. What can you do, really? But yeah, I thought I wanted to make this video just to kind of bring up that topic and explain why, you know, you don't see Ying as often as you might expect, given that, yeah, Life Exchange is actually pretty powerful on the healing front. So, yeah, and I guess one last kind of thought is that Ying is actually a pretty high skill support, if you really want to talk about it. Because, well, A, she's one of the only supports in the game who actually needs to aim. If you take a look at this roster, the only ones who need to aim are Ying, Pip, Damba, and Grok if he's going Spirit's Domain. That's basically it. All the rest have auto-aim, or in the case of Grover, just really powerful AoE heals, or, you know, a mix of the sort like Lilith. And so yeah, that's already a skill requirement for Ying. That puts her above the rest of the supports. But she also really has a lot of skill involved with illusion management, because you have to manage your illusions in a very smart way. I didn't manage them particularly great that match, but yeah, you have to manage them in a smart way so that you're able to heal your team and get, you know, effective healing out of them without your illusions being killed, but also having an escape route, because your illusions are also tied to your movement ability. A lot of stuff is tied to your illusions, and so you really got to have good placement of that. And if you're bad at that, then you're going to be less effective. And so that's, I guess, one final kind of thought as to why Ying is not particularly meta. But that's one thing that I don't think should be changed, because it's nice to have these higher skill supports in the game, and when you do see a Ying who can actually manage her illusions properly, it's very impressive. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to have a support like that who rewards skill. And it's a very interesting type of skill, too. And so, you know, I guess that's one final reason why she's not as meta, but definitely, I think, a good reason why she's not in the meta. And I think that's very great. But yeah, once again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. We're so close to 60,000 subscribers, and I really want to hit that this month. So please hit that big red sub button if you've been enjoying the content recently. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.